Yo, what is good, YouTube? And welcome back to another video on NBA 2K23, where in this video, we're going to focus on how to beat the Hall of Fame AI in isolation or in one-on-one situations, particularly focusing on the ability to break your defender off the bounce using dribble moves and using isolation sets. Now, these moves also work for online situations, whether it be someone defending you off ball or on ball. So we'll focus on shot creation principles that will help give you success in the game. Now, what this video is a breakdown on the mentality on how to set up certain moves to give you the most success in NBA 2K23. What this video isn't is a tutorial for all the moves that you're seeing on the screen right now. I have separate tutorials for each of the techniques that I'll show in this video right here. But what's important is that you're able to understand, how to break your defender down, whether it be the Hall of Fame AI, which, in my opinion, sometimes cheats, or user AI in online situations. I didn't mean user AI, but users in online situations, whether they're guarding you on ball or in off ball situations. So before we get into the breakdown of how to beat your defenders in one-on-one situations, let's take a look at some of the basic systems that you'll need to know in NBA 2K23, starting with the adrenaline boost system, or those three bars below your turbo meter right there. So each of those bars represent a turbo boost, meaning that as soon as you consume any move that uses turbo, one of those boost meters will be depleted. So starting here with attack crossovers, which do not cost adrenaline boost bars, and as you can see below, just above the Steph Curry name, those three bars are not being depleted. But as soon as I execute a crossover out of this right there, an adrenaline boost meter was depleted, and it's important for you to keep in mind that you cannot abuse turbo because the turbo boosts are what will get you, the blow by and the separation that you need to get to the basket. Now, next is the shading mechanic, which is an important defensive mechanic. So, in order to beat our defender, we need to know how the defensive systems in NBA 2K work in terms of one-on-one interactions. So, take a look at those three bars right there underneath the red circle. Those are the shading indicators. So any zone which is highlighted red represents a zone that you cannot attack. So I started with a zone pointing directly at the middle. If I go straight towards my opponent, they will stop me with a bump animation. Now the main counter for these zones are lateral movement. As you can see right here, each lateral movement out of the attack crossover shifts the zone from left to right depending on the direction in which you go. This gives you the opportunity to open up different zones and attack your defender depending on which zone is open. Do that attack crossover combo right here, but instead, we attack the wrong zone after beating our defender at the initial action. So take a look at this right here. We initiate an attack crossover once, right there, and then another attack crossover that will give us a tween attack crossover, but instead of going to the left or forward, we go to the right, as you can see right here, and that leads to a bump from Drew Holiday, which stops our attacking motion. Another thing to consider when planning your attacks is that, launch moves are more effective when you have more space between you and your defender. Also, your launch moves will be more successful if you shift your defender stance around, creating angles which will allow you to not get bumped as your defender moves from left to right. So that initial launch crossover was stopped because the space was not right for me to launch out of it. Instead, I bumped directly into Drew Holiday. But doing the attack crossover once again here, we waited for Drew Holiday to open up his defensive stance so that he could not bump us. So now that we know the goal of the defender, you must use quick moves that shift your movement into green regions within the shading indicator and attack that very quickly once your defender tries to contain you with initial bumps or different types of clamp animations on defense. So here, Drew Holiday was focused on containing us going to our left, so we counter with a quick snatch dribble which allows us to burst to the right and get to the basket. So here in this online game of My Team Unlimited, the AI defender does the same thing. He stops me going to the left, I counter with that quick snatch dribble, burst to the basket, and easy 2 points. So my first main tip is that you need to use dribble moves and shot creation techniques that will force a commitment out of your defender, and then you will punish that overreaction or overcommitment. So here I try to shift my defender by using different dribble moves. He doesn't oblige, I head forward, he's forced to move back, and we counter with a step back jumper, a Luka special. So with KD right here, who has great dribble signature animations going to the left and to the right, we use those different dribble combos to shift Torrey Craig around, you will see that he's reacting with little nudges to the left, changing his stance, and we can abuse that by using specific animations that will force an overreaction right there and counter with a quick crossover that gets us to the basket for an easy 2 points. At its simplest, you must think of one-on-one battles as being won by using push and pull moves to generate reactions and countering appropriately. So here we use a forward attacking in and out crossover to force Jamal Murray to head back. We counter with a quick step back jumper to create space, and that's an easy 2 points. So here online, I like to use the step over spin launch and then counter with a quick snatch dribble, which gives me a wide open 3-point jump shot. So that step back escape is always a good combo starter because it will give you enough space, to launch into any of your crossover launch animations, whether they be tight or wide animations. As you can see right there, Ja is forced to commit because that's Steph Curry, and then we just end with a step back jumper to avoid Jaren Jackson's helps defense. So with Jason Tatum right here, we set LeBron up by using different signature size up animations, quick crossover launch, and then as he's moving backwards, we counter with that signature Jason Tatum step back jumper. So here a simple in and out dribble to a behind the back launch, which has a very tight angle moving forward, forces our defender to try to cut us off by trying to cut off moving backwards, so instead we counter with a nice Devin Booker step back jumper. Now if you're someone who likes to operate from, certain positions like the elbow, now you want to use different push and pull moves that use lateral counters moving from left to right in order to punish defenders by committing to a certain direction. So take a look here as I use a set of face-up animations and jab steps, then drive towards the middle to force Roy Hibbert to try to cover that area. So instead, I counter with a spin move directly into a pull-up jumper because I was able to quickly counter that commitment. Same here in an online situation, I use a series of jab steps, force my defender to commit to guard the middle. He's playing catch up, and then I counter with a step back jumper. And although I missed that, I set that up beautifully. So this is the value of using your different triple threat moves. It shifts your defender around, keeps them guessing, and then attack depending on what angle they give you. I use a series of crossovers, hesitation moves, and then lead to that step back jumper. The thing that you have to remember online is defenders typically overreact to the first action, which makes beating user defenders easier than the Hall of Fame AI. So in order to plan these moves, you have to be familiar with each of your players' different signature animations. For example, LeBron's standard signature size up crossover launch is very slow, it's easily bumped, so instead I use a attack crossover. Look at the attack crossover's tight angle there. Brandon Ingram wasn't even able to help and were able to get to the basket. Now for guys like Kyrie Irving, they have a very quick and wide crossover launch that will get you to the basket. Steph Curry is another one of these individuals with a great signature animation package in NBA 2K23. In particular, his different, size up escape dribbles like that Curry slide right there, it's very powerful. It will force defenders to overreact as they're afraid of not closing out on his 3-point shot, so launch it to a crossover and get to the basket. So with triple threat demons like Zach LaVine right here, you want to use your different jab steps. That will initiate a different reaction from your defender, and if they don't bite, then you can counter with your different pull counters like that step back jumper right there out of that tween escape dribble. So taking this online, look at that nasty move right there. A simple jab step, a lateral jab step to our right forces Derrick Rose to try and cover the right. So instead we spin out to the left and get to the basket for an easy 2 points. So here's the importance of combining everything together. We combine, our different step over launches, our different escape dribble crossovers, and then, once we get the defender to close out and try to contain that initial penetration, you counter with a step back jumper. Look at this right here, crossover, Anthony Edwards tries to overreact to cut us off, and we hit him with a nasty step back jumper. And all these moves are beating the Hall of Fame AI with great efficiency. It's not costing us a lot of energy, and more importantly, it's not costing us, a lot of adrenaline boost bars. We're being methodical in how we set up our offense, using different fakes, using different overreactions, and then punishing those overreactions with the right type of move. Using KD on Kawhi Leonard, one of the best defenders in NBA 2K23. Again, we use our simple concept of push and pull. We push to the right with that, jab step. We pull to the left using that escape dribble crossover and then burst directly to the basket for an easy 2 points. That's KD, doesn't matter if there's help defense right there. Now if you got someone like Russell Westbrook, who in my opinion has one of the best attack crossover snatchback combos in the game, you have to take advantage of this. See, hit him with a switchback dribble, get him off balance once, hit him with the forward attack crossover, and then cancel that into a snatchback dribble that gives us enough space, to burst out of it and get to the basket for an easy 2 points. Same here with Kobe, who also has another one of those, very powerful attack crossover snatch combos. Step over launch, attack crossover, pull back dribble, easy 3 points as it gets us wide open every single time. And forget about it when you take these combos online. Look at this right here. Oh, we got him twice, maybe even thrice in just one move. A simple step over spin out forces him to overreact. Look at those jab steps are forcing him to move left to right. Then pull back dribble. He thinks I'm going for a 3, so instead we attack the basket for an easy jam. And man, you don't even need to try and do too much. Sometimes a simple 3 dribble combo right here, moving forward initially to attack our defender's space and then moving backwards will get us enough space to hit him with a wide open 3-point jump shot. So this brings everything together, forcing a commitment, using push and pull counters, and being methodical in how we set up our attacks, efficiency to get wide open buckets. The next level of shot creation will need for you to put in some of the work. You need to understand the importance of momentum combos. As you can see right here, we comboed an attack crossover directly into a step back jumper. These are the types of moves online that can't be guarded because, you're not able to react very quickly. So here we tied, the momentum we get out of Paul George's attack crossover into a step back jumper and all the space that it generates. So for really elite NBA players in NBA 2K23, you don't necessarily need to use the push and pull counter method. Now, if you got guys with great speed, great strength, the right badges like clamp breaker, quick first step, bully, those types of strength badges to get you to the basket, you won't need to pull as much if you have the advantage. As you can see right there, Darius Garland just used the speed, and in this situation, LeBron James just used his quick strength. Now online, a simple jab step into that bully animation with quick first step got us 2 points very easily. So we started with a simple jab step that opened up the middle and the right zones in our shading indicator. We go straight forward, take that angle, and use our quick first step and bully badge animation to get us an easy end one. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a basic crash course into the essentials of shot creation in NBA 2K23. If you want to take your game to the next level in one-on-one battles, whether it would be with the Hall of Fame AI or users online, these are the principles that you need to stick to. Now, from here, you'll want to go into the different tutorials that I put out on how to do specific moves. I've also gone into specific NBA players and their powerful animations, which you can, slowly start to lab by yourself. But these are the principles that I use in order to break my defender down, whether I'm playing offline against the Hall of Fame AI or going up against users online who, in my opinion, have a tendency to overreact. Part of that is the compensation for the lag and the delay online. It makes it much more difficult to defend online. But once you start mastering how to beat the Hall of Fame AI, you'll be able to translate those skills into an online situation, as you've seen in these clips right here. So just practice, get into that mentality of how to set up your different types of attacks. Practice the different moves, make sure your stick execution is right. And these are the techniques that will bring you success in NBA 2K23.